So 2020 was set out to be a really busy year, one of transition and growth. I was in my final year at university and I had found myself searching for a new home after losing my grandmother. So it was a bittersweet yet exciting time. I was looking forward to what was coming. I was also looking for a new job or a job to secure for once I had finished university. So yeah, it was exciting, it was scary, it was good times. It was what I believe was to come. So it's shaping up to be a really good year in my books, in my head. I knew what I was doing, I knew where I was going. I never thought that university would be something that I could achieve. I had left school with not the best qualifications, and yet here I was completing my honours year, considering doing a dissertation. Student life, I realised, actually really suited me and was suiting me. The early morning train rides with a customary coffee was probably one of the best parts as I read over my notes for class, or the drives to placement with my radio on full bung singing along. There was routine, normality, freedom, and then boom, there was COVID. Face coverings must be worn in all forms of public transport. There went my morning coffees or mentions of COVID in every radio station. There went my peaceful drives to placement. Keep 2 metres apart, wash your hands, don't travel outside your district, wash your hands, stay safe, wash your hands. When lockdown was finally implemented, a cloud of fear and panic had already fixed itself above the country, but also above me. I could see this everywhere I looked. The trains that were once really busy and you could hardly get a space on were becoming much quieter. Shop shelves were emptying with panic buyers, and my thought was toilet roll had almost become a form of currency. I had gone from sharing funny COVID-related memes on social media to reading rest in peace posts, not from afar, but from friends and loved ones. My morning coffees suddenly seemed insignificant. Everything, life, really moved online overnight for me. The friends and peers that I sat next to on a daily basis at uni became residents in the corner of my Zoom screen. It felt like we were the faces of celebrity squares, and the uni lecturers, they were the quiz masters. Before I knew it, even my placement was taking place over Zoom. We were living in a virtual world and I was seeing no one. Shopping, socialising, education, the new norm was online. Got up in the morning, don't need to get a shower, didn't need to put clothes on, I just had to turn on my computer. We were staying safe, we were saving lives, protecting the NHS, all that, but the one thing that nobody was really discussing, or that I didn't feel people were discussing at the beginning, was that isolation, that loneliness. Disconnected, I felt really disconnected, like from the world that I had known and from the people and even the shiny gadgets that we were using for connecting. It just seemed hard. It was technology, it was whatever, but there wasn't that human connection that I so sought and I so needed. I'm somebody that really does need to be with people to feel energised and to feel well. This wasn't good for me. It became a time of struggle, a time of just where I was spending all day on Zoom, either for placement or for work, or for uni. And then I was expected to catch up with friends and family over Zoom quizzes that became all the rage while you sit with your pint on a quiz screen rather than in a pub. And I thought, I can't do this. I was knackered, I was exhausted after doing it all day. So I really became a bit of seeing no one for a long time. Until bubbles were introduced, and I stayed on my own at that point, so I was allowed to bubble up and I got to see and hug my wee shiny new wee godson. That really was a complete blessing in a really dark time. So the world was at a standstill, but I really had to try and find a way to carry on, a way to kind of get on with life the best I could. Prior to lockdown, I was looking for a new home. That didn't change because of lockdown, but it made it a lot harder. I couldn't go and view places, and private lets were getting snapped up really as quickly as the toilet roll on the shop shelves. The plan was I was moving out of the home that had been my grandmother's and my parents were moving in. They put their house in the market, expecting it to take ages to sell, and yet within 48 hours they had accepted an offer. So it was a wee bit like, oh no, what's going to happen now? I hadn't stayed with my parents till I was 14. So into this one home moved my mum, my stepdad and their boisterous yet cuddly beautiful puppy. So again, I had went from a place of sanctuary and having a full home really, where I had an office space and a bedroom space, to literally living, working, sleeping in the one room. We managed this for 6 months and I loved them, but if it'd been much longer than that, I might not be saying that. I found a flat and I thought that would be it. I thought my chance to really focus on my future, to really be happy and start looking forward. But actually I realised quite quickly that I hated the flat, and I had just taken it because I wanted out of where I was, and I had realised that being without people for so long, all of a sudden being with 2 people and a puppy was just a bit whoa. So I really jumped and realised I had made the wrong choice. I also had to be grateful though that I at least had a house, at least had somewhere to be, and I sort of made the decision that I'm going to look for somewhere else while just appreciating here. I somehow managed to complete my studies, achieving an honours degree in community development, even though I couldn't be out in the field in the community. A field trip to India, which had been a dream of mine, became an online research-based dissertation. So it's a virtual trip around the world, and that really wasn't what I expected, but I learned a lot. Things were beginning to come together. I found a new flat, right on the beachfront with bright sea views from every window. It felt like my reward for enduring through everything. The good kept coming. I also secured a job working as the assistant coordinator for the RAMH Recovery College. And although it was challenging not physically being in the office with the team or not seeing Recovery College students for almost a year, it was exactly where I wanted and needed to be. So eventually the time came when we got to meet face to face again, and after so long of being on Zoom and only seeing faces, it was funny to see that people actually had bodies. And my biggest challenge was remembering not to go into the office wearing my jammies. COVID and lockdown were extremely difficult for me, as for many others. It however brought growth and transition that I wasn't even aware that I had to go through. It taught me that I am brave, strong and resilient, and I can get through whatever life throws at me. But it taught me that I can't do it alone, and I value friendships and relationships even more than I did before.